Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Ay, gulog ang antang. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to Team Goodman. So we're gonna be doing homeschooling today. I'm gonna put a powder because my forehead is very shiny. Shimmering.
Remember when nakita ko to sa may tubla sa church to ba na mga lalaki tubla shiny na ulo ko sa likod mo na.
Sinap na. Study.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
I'm gonna be doing a series of
jingle bell
reading.
Jingle bell swing.
This is just a 1 hour stream.
Oh no, mommy. Oy. Yeah. I can get his letter.
Where's the one that you said that we're gonna read?
Who said I'm gonna read?
This one, a Valentine for Julia. A Valentine.
Sabi nga do math?
No, we're gonna read.
You said Tisha, get math?
Later to ya. After this one, we're gonna do the mathematics. Because this is just a 1 hour stream for your reading.
Alexa,
get the book of gladness.
What time is it, huh?
Get the book of gladness. We're done with the Candlemas, right?
Yep.
So it means we're gonna be reading a Valentine for Julia.
Don't say that no, huh?
Because the assignment on page 306 will be your assignment.
Don't say the page. I can do this.
A Valentine for Julia.
Let me guess, Mama. The word is 294.
The assignment 306.
Jingle bell.
Let me see. Be the 306.
Jingle bell. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, rock. Jingle bell swinging, jingle bell swing, dancing and dancing.
This assignment. This is assignment, sige na. 294.
When Sally fabulous
Let's see na playing na Tish.
Ay, Sally, go,
sige na.
let go.
A Valentine for Julia.
2 people, Mau. 2 people, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands,
done with this one,
2 legs.
Be quiet, Balatish.
2 head.
Oh, what is
2 mouth.
this page? A city on a hill, pagali. Wala tani mabasa. This one, amo na yung unahon. Diba?
No mo, we with that body.
A city on the hill?
Yeah.
Andam kasako na. Why na mo? Why na mabasa? Hanggang kada gani,
Bebe! We did mo! No?
Oo na. Hindi ko na ma-remember mo.
Be! Yung basa ito na eh!
Why? Hanggang kada. Come here na.
Siling ko, no?
Hindi kami na. Wala na daialan siran. Basawon mo lang na.
Di ba? Yung basa ito na eh!
Wala ta naging basa. Kay diri lang taasa sa Our Lady of Prairies. So,
Be!
so for thousands of men. Sige na.
Ba't yan kasi yan na kanta?
Sige na.
Hurry
Hurry up.
up.
For thousands. Hurry up pala so that we can finish faster. For thousands.
Ano? For thousands of men and women in the upper Mississippi Valley, a great missionary priest built schools and churches. He set some of them in low valleys, some on high plains, but the one that a lonely orphan boy knew and loved best was the one which Father Samuel built in a city on a hill. Yung basa ko na ito yung tapos ay. Father Samuel finds a friend. The wind blew cold down the Mississippi. Blocks of ice driven from the north piled up in the river. The boy watched them from the bank of the great stream. He saw them rising like a high wall as the boat from St. Louis came around the bend. The boat with its big side wheels came up the river. River. Thick black smoke blew out of its two tall iron chimneys. The boy saw that its pilot was trying to steer the boat around the ice. But the ice was too wide, too high. The pilot is stuck, the boy said to himself. He cannot go any farther up the river. The passengers will have to come to the shore and walk to town. Soon he saw the boat turn. It was the boy knew making for the shore just below him to put off its passengers. There's a crowd on the boat, the boy thought as he ran down toward the shore. As the boy reached the foot of the river bank, he saw the crowd from the boat. Men on their way to the lead mines at Galena, he thought as he watched them dragging their packs ashore. He stood staring at every face, hoping that he would see someone whom he had known somewhere else. Some of the men looked at him and a few spoke to him. No one stopped until a dark-eyed man who wore a black suit and a black hat and carried a very small pack came close to him. Is there any road to Galena? He asked the boy. No, sir, the boy said. There is no road, but there is an Indian trail. Could you show it to me? The man asked. Yes, sir, the boy said. The trail led past the cabin where he had lived alone since his father had died. As he came up to it, he saw how pale and tired the dark-eyed man looked. It is a long way to Galena, the boy said. Do you not want to stay here tonight and set out in the morning with your people? The man asked. I have no people. The boy said. Your father, your mother? The man asked. They are dead, said the boy. My mother died 5 years ago. My father died last week, and you are alone? But that is not right, the man exclaimed. He stood in front of the poor little cabin. Do you go to any church? He asked the boy. I am a Catholic church. I am a Catholic, sir. The boy said. The man smiled at him. I am a Catholic too. I am a Catholic. I am a Catholic priest. Why, you must be Father Samuel. The boy cried. Why must I be Father Samuel? The priest asked with a twinkle in his eye. Because Father Samuel is the priest who goes up and down this valley, all the way from St. Louis to far north of here, the boy replied. Then I am Father Samuel, the priest said. And what is your name? Francis, the boy told him. And you are all alone, the priest asked again. All alone, Father Francis said. Do you wish to stay here alone? The priest asked the boy. No, Father Francis said. But what can I do? For a moment, Father Samuel stood there without saying a word. He looked back at the boat, which was already starting down the river toward St. Louis. He looked at the men who hurried through the woods. He looked at the poor little cabin. Do you wish to come with me, Francis? He asked. Oh, Father, may I? Will you take me? He cried. I will at least take you to Galena, Father Samuel told him. There I will see that you are not alone. There you shall go to church and go to school. I have no money, Father. The boy said, I have nothing but a blanket and a knife and a prayer book and the rosary. That is enough, said Father Samuel. He went into the little cabin with the boy. There was, he could see, nothing to take from it but what Francis had said, and the blessing of God, he told him, that makes a pack of any journey. Do you not wish to stay here tonight? Francis asked. I can get food from my neighbors in the settlement. There will be enough for us both. I have a little food and I must hurry, Father Samuel said. There, ano yung name mo?
Nung wala na picture ko, i-ano ko sa IG. Hindi magpakita, tsura. Na. Ano naman ganyan. Yung book lang.
Anong IG?
Sige na.
Anong IG?
Instagram
IG! Instagram! Okay. Abi ko tawag nila Insta.
Yan yung Instagram.
Naya tawag mo yung IG yaw.
Palalipot.
Namin yung Insta po. There is, Father Samuel said, there's so much to be done and so little time in which to do it. You have traveled far, have you not? The boy asked the priest as they set off through the woods. Far, far, said Father Samuel, to the Indians in the north and in the west, to a city in the east, to look after the printing of the catechism which I wrote in the language of the Indians, to another city beyond that to see the great Bishop Panwick, who brought me from my home in the old world to this great new land, up to the head of the Great Lakes, and down to St. Louis, to make my own confession. Those have been long journeys, but I went to do the work of the Lord. Do you never stop? Francis asked the priest. Oh, yes, Father Samuel said. I stop now in Galena. I am building a church there. Oh, Father, the boy cried, may I help you? There is nothing I will not do for you. Not for me, Francis, Father Samuel said. The work you will do will be for our country and for God. Then, for long hours, the priest and the boy tramped through the woods. Together they ate from the bundle of food the priest carried. Together they moved on. They moved on again. Together they made a fire. Together they lay on the hard, cold ground. You must take this blanket, Father, the boy said. But the priest would not take it. No, no, he said. You need it more than I do. I have often slept without one. Slept without one. When he awoke in the early morning, Father Samuel found the blanket over him. He looked down at the sleeping boy. He lifted his hand and made the sign of the cross over him. Then he awakened him. Today, he said, we go on to Galena, I think. He added that we shall build our church together. Father Samuel's church. The church was to stand on the top of a hill. Everything in Galena, Francis thought, stood on a hill, either at the foot of a hill or on the side of a hill or on the top of a hill. Galena was in those days a busy town. Boats from the Mississippi River came to the docks. Men from all over the country came on them or by stagecoach from the east. Someone had found lead in the hills around Galena, and the town was crowded with men who hoped to become rich in the lead mines. All of them knew Father Samuel. Men who had been fighting with one another stopped as the priest passed them. Doctors and lawyers came out to speak to him. The owner of the newspaper crossed the muddy street to shake hands with the priest. Ministers of other churches came to greet him. Have you come back to finish the church? They asked him. With the help of God, he told them. Where will you stay, Father? A big man came out of a small wooden building in the square to ask him. I do not yet know, said Father Samuel. You must be our guest, the big man said. My wife has a room waiting for you at our house. I am not alone, said Father Samuel. My friend Francis is with me. There is room for him too, said the big man. Go right up to the house now. The priest and the boy climbed a hill where houses better than any Francis had ever seen stood at the side of the road. As Father Samuel knocked at the door of one of them, a dog began to bark. Then the door opened. A big woman, two boys, three girls, and two dogs stood before them. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray naman! Hurrah! Hooray!
Hooray!
Hooray! Cried the boys. Hurrah! Cried the girls. The dogs kept barking. You are welcome, Father Samuel, said the big woman. You are as welcome as the flowers in May. God bless you all, said Father Samuel. One of the boys put out the dogs. The woman and the children went down on their knees, and Father Samuel lifted their hand in blessing. They all stood up. You must be hungry. The big woman said, I will get you food right away. This is Francis, Father Samuel said, taking the boy's hand. And this is Mrs. Kenny. And here are and Nora and Ellen and Michael and Kevin. Uh have you a dog naman?
I don't know. Just read. Have you a dog?
Have you a dog? Asked Kevin. No, said Francis. I will get him a dog, said Michael. They pushed a chair for Francis. Do you have a dog na guro mo?
Probably. It's a type error.
They pushed a chair for Francis beside Father Samuel at the long table. They helped their mother give him food, smoked meat and potatoes, fried mush and mush, 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 mush,
fried
mush, and molasses.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh bread and butter and jelly. Where do you live? They all cried. Then looked sadly at Francis. Down near the river, he said. She turned around to the priest. Basi adopt na nila siya, no?
Continue ba that?
How should you like to stay with us, Francis? She asked him.
Continue. She asked him.
While Father Samuel is building the church here. Here, the boy said, here with all of you. Should you not like to stay here, Francis? The priest asked. Do you mean I may stay, Father? The boy said, I would not ask you if we did not want you. Mrs. Kenny said, stay with us as long as Father is working on the church. Francis was so happy he could not speak. He knew he should thank Mrs. Kenny, but the words would not come. He nodded his head, and Michael came to his aid. He wants to stay, said Michael. I want to stay, said Francis at last. I thank you. That is all right, said Mrs. Kenny. Be a good boy.
He is a good boy.
He is a good boy, said Father Samuel. May we all help you build a church, Father Samuel? Kate asked. To be sure, said the priest. Girls can't help, said Kevin. See if we can't, said Nora. That afternoon, they all went up to the place where the church was being built. Many men were busy at work. Father Samuel, in his white habit,
moved among. Moved among.
Sa kabilog ba? Wala ganun nagtakit da?
Hindi kay early morning. Moved
along, went among the men with a plan in his hand. What's her errands, ma?
Things that they needed to do.
Ooh, I'm gonna get first errand. No, first errand, yeah.
Huh?
No, first errand.
First errand man? It means the first thing that you have to do
Sa mga bata
Very important things.
Kita ko sa YouTube sa may sa mga bata bala.
Continue na.
Children in Japan.
He himself.
Mga kindergarten below.
That's not good. You're sending your kids this age in the store.
Ngayon by the Manila.
Continue na.
He planned this church himself. One of the men told Francis. He has planned many churches. Michael said Father Samuel has built birch bark churches and stone churches and wooden churches, but my father says he has already built churches in many other places. He makes the plans for other places too. One of the men said plans for big buildings such as city halls and courthouses. Gusto ko lang magdako ko man start ba sa Japan?
We have money. Continue na. He does a lot for us.
He does a lot for us, said another man. That is why we are glad to do whatever we can for him. Day by day, the work on the church went on. Everyone helped. It seemed to Francis that nearly everyone who lived in Galena came to do something to help Father Samuel. Everyone but Francis was glad to see that the church was nearly done. Francis was sad, for he thought that when it was finished he would have to leave the Kennys. Now he felt at home with them. He liked them all. He wanted to stay with them, but he remembered that Mrs. Kenny had said he could stay until the church was built. When shall I have to go away from here? He asked Father Samuel one day. Away, said the priest. I shall have to leave the Kennys when the church is built. Shall I not, Father? Francis asked. Oh, said Father Samuel. I have forgotten. He looked up at the roof of St. Michael's, now nearly finished. I am sure the good Lord will find a way for you, Francis, he said. He always takes care of his children. That night, when he came to the Kennys, he told them that he must soon go away. I must go on a journey to get many things we need to the church. May Francis stay with you until I come back? Of course, said Mr. Kenny. Of course, said Mrs. Kenny. Oh, grand, cried the Kenny children.
How soon?
Oh.
How soon
will you come back? How soon will you be back, Father? Francis asked the priest. Father Samuel stared hard at him. It was Francis thought stared hard at him. It was Francis thought as if he were telling him that for a while he would be safe with the Kennys. I do not know, my child, he said. My journey will be a long one. Father Samuel's city. Let me see. Wait, Ari, gwapo nga babae.
Na-continue na.
Ari, lalaki, nga do ano. Nga ano ni man?
It's just the painting page. Continue na ba page?
St. Michael's Church, high upon the hill, was finished. It had taken a long time to build, for Father Samuel had so much other work to do. He had to look after missions that were hundreds of miles apart. He had to go among the Indians who loved and trusted him to teach them the word of God. He had to work for the pioneers. He helped them to make laws. He helped them to build courthouses and schools. In friendship for him, the pioneers had helped him to build church. Had helped him to build him all. He helped him to
build churches.
Pioneers had helped him to build churches. All over the valley he had put up churches of many kinds, but this church of St. Michael was somehow his own special church. Perhaps it is because it was taken so long to build, Father Samuel told Francis. I am glad that it has, the boy said. I could not have stayed with the Kennys if it had been done before you went away. What would you have done? The priest asked. I would have gone with you if you would have taken me, Francis said. Francis said. Father Samuel shook his head. Excuse me.
Bless you.
No. Wait. Touch my hair, ba? Okay na na
Basa pa.
Ay! Laban ang buhok ko! No, he said. The missionary must travel alone. He had done so much traveling that he felt almost like a stranger on the Sunday when he said the first Mass in St. Michael's. I wonder if many people will come, he said to Francis. I think they will, said the boy. Francis was right. First of all came the Kennys, then came the other Catholics of the town and the Catholics of the country near the town. Then after them came many of the people of the town who were not Catholics. The mayor, the judge, and the steamboat captains came. The lead miners and dock workers were there. Doctors, lawyers, merchants, and their wives entered the Leo church. Asa kay go da?
It's a big church mo.
It says Leo oh.
Ba?
Oo, siyo.
Hindi, Lord, gani, pero hindi makita ang kadamo mga tao sa mga. Tig-isa-isa lang ang gawin. They listen.
Hasta wife nila.
Sige na, they listen. Continue na, Tesh.
They listened as Father Samuel spoke of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Who had died for all men. Then, after Mass, they waited outside the church to speak to the priest. We are glad you have your church here, Father Samuel, they said. We hope that now you will stay with us all the time. Thank you, said Father Samuel. He had a house of his own now, a tiny place beside the church. He has no longer stayed with the
He no
longer stayed with the Kennys, although Francis was still there. Sometimes the boy wondered how long he would be allowed to remain, but time went on and no one spoke of his going. Francis went to school with the Kenny children. He helped them in their tasks. He helped with them. He played with them. He studied with them at night. As time passed, the town called him the other Kenny boy. He himself sometimes wondered that the future would bring him. Once he spoke to Father Samuel about it. I have a plan for you, the priest said. Someday I will tell you, he told Francis on the day he left Galena. You are to stay with the Kennys until you finish school. Kasi ma-priest ni sa Blau. No? He said, I have planned for that. Afterward, you will go away to college. I have planned for that too. But I have no money, Father Francis said. You will earn money as you go along, Father Samuel told him. I will make the plan for you. I can never thank you enough for all you have done for me, Father Samuel, the boy said. It is nothing, said the priest. But what can I do
What can I ever do?
What can I ever do to repay you? Asked Francis. When you are a man, said Father Samuel, you can pass on to some other boy whatever you think you would have wished to give to me. What will the city do without you?
What will the
town do without you? Francis said. This is really your city. Oh, no, said the priest. This is only a place where I have served God. I must go on now to other work. Other priests have already come here. My frontier moves on. Father Samuel went on to a work greater than any he had done before. He built schools and colleges. He made plans for many new buildings. He said that prayers for the meeting of the men who made the first laws of a new state. He brought priests to the new country and taught the girls of the frontier who became sisters how to bring souls to Christ.
Always.
Always through everything, he remained the missionary, and
it was all the missionary.
It was the
and it was
he remained the missionary, and it was as the missionary that Francis the
and it was
as the missionary that Francis the boy for whom Father Samuel had found a home always remembered him. He was the greatest builder in the Great Valley. Francis always said of him. He built a city greater than those of wood and brick and stone. He built a city of the souls of men. Mama, can I put that in a rub on my head?
Be? Oh. Be?
Tama, check mo lang.
Sa likod po bala kada mag-ubanan ka na ka reklamo sa ko.
Oo, basta hindi ka mangukay sa ulo ko.
Ito yung bala ka. Sige na, continue na.
Tapos na mo.
So, can you write a story?
No!
Wala niya. Sige na, a Valentine for Julia. Read na. 60 Catholic families from Maryland crossed the mountains.
60 family?
Mm-hmm.
Wow!
Let's finish a Valentine for Julia.
Mansion, giniguro bala nila mo. Huh?
A Valentine for Julia.
Wait. As a Valentine is in March. March is in March?
It's February mo.
Yeah. Why are they weighing that now? It's very hot.
It's cold here in February, remember? Especially in Kentucky. Because we're just neighbors.
Oh, they are in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's why February is not summer. You're thinking about Philippines. Here, it's still winter season.
Ayun.
Hurry up.
Winter
is about to be ending. March is spring. Sige na, read
Why? Na ganun.
Read na.
Tatsura mo dumano ka wrestling.
Mga
I do it again.
Kilikili. Kita.
Kilikili power.
Hurry up, gagi. I'm gonna be mad.
Basta mandamo. Pag
continue.
Viewers ba?
Okay, hurry up. 60 Catholic families.
Sa lang mo like sa
hurry up, Tesh. Ba ilan na pala? Di po problema. Watch ours
Wait,
na.
what time na?
I-replay na.
What time
33 na ako kay mag-1
Hindi, what time na sa aton yung human world bala? Hindi, sa may live stream.
Mga kignagi ko karon, Tesh.
What time na? Hindi ko makita. Dos ko
It's 12:04 noon time.
Magtapos ha? Mayot. Ito sa ano? Wait, asa nila yun? 1,
sige na kay mamata dayon after this.
4, 5,
Tesh, hurry up. I'm wasting
7.
time,
6, oy!
Sige na bala. Tapos nung tanong yung
Doon
Valentine.
lalaki, tsura ko.
BS. Tesh,
Nagamba ka!
hurry up na. 60 Catholic.
60 Catholic families from Maryland crossed the mountains to Kentucky. They planted crops, built cabins and churches, and the one family made a Valentine for Julia.
Saturday.
Julia
Joy.
Wait, Saturday daw.
Continue. Saturday.
Julia Joy was born in a cabin. Her family called her Little Kentucky because she was the only one of them not born in Maryland. Perhaps that was why she loved the place better than did any of the other Joy family. Children. Lucine, Jane, Robert, and Francis. She loved to go out into the woods around the cabin, and that was why she awoke so gladly one Saturday morning in February. Mama, when is Mama? Saturday ang
It was one Saturday.
Saturday yung Valentine now.
Well, I don't know. It depends na.
It was a warm day of for February. Julia Joy heard the brook singing down below the pine woods. She saw a bright red bird in a tree near the log cabin. Epiphany has gone. Springtime has come, she told her mother. Oh no, her mother said, this is too early for springtime in Kentucky. Julia, today is 2 days before St. Valentine's Day. Do you think I shall get a Valentine, mother? Julia asked. What is a Valentine now?
The one balawan Papa, your Papa gave us the teddy bears and we surprised him also.
I really think you will, her mother said.
Today is October 9, right?
Yes, why?
Well, nothing.
Why, how?
I'm just thinking.
Wait, may eskwela Papa sa may eskwela.
You have to work today. Your schedule is this one. 1:50 p.m. Dentist. I forgot to put it there. Continue na, Tej.
Wait, what is the O? It's tinted.
Sige na. Where are we?
Mama, why is 17, Mama? What day is 17 now?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, but what holiday is it now?
Continue na, Tej. It's Columbus Day and Indigenous Day today.
16, Mama, World Food Day? This holiday name, World Food.
I don't know. We're just gonna check it later. Hurry up na. Do you think I shall get a Valentine?
I'm done there already, mo.
So I really think.
Yeah. Did you always get Valentines when you were a little girl in Maryland? Julia wanted to know. Indeed, I did, her mother said. All the little girls in St. Mary's County in Maryland got Valentines. We did not have pretty Valentines in Kentucky, Julia said. Mother, don't you sometimes wish that you had stayed in Maryland?
No, Julia dear.
No, Julia dear, said her mother. I love Maryland, but Kentucky is our home now. And I love Kentucky. You were born here. Aunt Agnes says that everything in Kentucky is far away from everything else. She says we live a mile from the nearest house and 10 miles from the church. She says Maryland is not like that. We like to live the way we do, said Julia's mother. We like a big space around the house. We like to ride a long way to Mass. I like it on nice days, said Julia. I like it even in the deep snow, said her mother. Now run along and play while I finish my Saturday baking. All afternoon Julia played. She built a little house of pine branches and pretended that she was baking cookies in it. Then she pretended that she was a lady in Maryland going to the store. She needed her purse for that, and went back into the house to get. And she went back into the house to get it. The purse was Julia's treasure. It had belonged to her grandmother. It was a beautiful green silk purse with pink roses on it. It had been made in France at a French convent. Julia's mother told her Julia was very proud of her purse and she usually took good care of it. As the sun began to set, her mother came to the door of the cabin. Julia, she called, will you please find Robert and tell him supper will soon be ready? Yes, mother, said Julia. She put the purse on the bench near the pine tree and ran to the edge of the woods. Robert was not there. Madula na mo. Dulagin ng purse basi. As she came back to the cabin, she saw him come out of the shed where the horses were kept. Robert, she called, supper is ready. As she moved near the cabin, she smelled something very nice. Was it spice cake? Was it chocolate? She ran so fast she forgot to get her purse. She did not remember it until she had come to the cabin door. I shall go back for it, she thought, but she did not go back. Supper was ready, and she sat down at the long table near the fireplace. After supper came evening prayers. Then Julia had to find her clothes for the next morning. The Joys always wore their best clothes when they went to church. They had to ride or walk 10 miles to the little church of Saint Anne. After Father Baden had built the church, now Father Fenwick was the pastor. Wait, Fenwick. Diba naman sa likod to? The Joys always had to make an early start, and so Sunday nights were busy times for every Saturday. Amo na ba ko?
Sunday.
So Saturday nights were busy times for many member of the family. Julia put her dress and cape and hood in order. Then she said her prayers and went to sleep. All the time the purse lay on the bench beneath the pine tree.
Sunday.
Ooh.
So this is Sunday.
Sunday. Julia saw the snow when she awoke next morning. It had a soft white. It made a soft white blanket over the ground. Icicles hung on the branches of the pine trees near the log cabin. They were so bright and beautiful that the little girl had held out her arms toward them. Mother, Father, and Lucy, Robert, and Jane, and Francis, she cried. Just see the snow. Hurry, Julian, dear, said her mother. We must start to church soon, for it will take us longer to get there through the snow. Julia dressed and brushed her hair. Then she ate her breakfast of mush and milk. Everyone was ready as she put on her cape and hood. Her father had 3 horses at the door as she opened it. Lucy and Jane would ride with him on Big Sandy. Robert and Francis would ride Little Red, and Julia and her mother would ride on Dolly. Her father was just about to place her on the horse beside her when Julia remembered her purse. Beside her mother when Julia remembered her purse. She ran around the horse toward the place in the snow where she knew it would be. She had to dig down deep to find it. The purse was there, but what a purse! Oh, its beauty was spoiled. The pink roses were faded. It would never again be the purse which had come to Kentucky from France by way of Maryland. Tears rolled down Julia's cheeks as she held the purse up to her mother. I am sorry, Julia, her mother said, while the others shook their heads. I am sorry, for your purse is spoiled, but it is your own fault. You forgot it last night and left it out in the snow. I did not know it was going to snow, sobbed Julia. Put it inside the house and come with me, said her mother. We have no time to lose. All the way to church, as Dolly the horse went through the deep snow, Julia cried. Her mother was right, she knew. It was all her own fault that the purse had been spoiled by the snow. But what should she do without it?
So as
the Joys came near the Joys came near the church of Saint Anne, they met other people on foot or on horseback. They were all going to mass at Saint Anne's. Already there were many Catholics in Kentucky. Father Baden had done a great missionary work. Father Fenwick was doing a great missionary work. The Church of Saint Anne brought God to his people.
Continue.
They were thankful for it, and every Sunday and every holy day they came a long way to Mass. Julia dried her tears as she went into the little church, and Father Fenwick came out to the sanctuary and went up to the altar. He was a young priest with a quiet voice. Under his vestments, he wore a white habit. He read the Latin of the Mass very slowly while Robert Joy and Samuel West served him. Oh, yan, gali, brother, mang,
Mm. Altar boy. Continue na.
gospel, and the credo so clearly that everyone heard and understood him. After Mass, he said the litany of Our Lady. The snow was still bright as they came out of the church. People stood in little groups, talking to one another. Julia was glad to feel how friendly everyone was, but she was tired and hungry. She was glad when her father lifted her up beside her mother on Dolly. In a little while, Julia was asleep, curled up against her mother. She had even forgotten the purse, but when they came to the cabin, she awoke and remembered it. Oh, my lovely purse, she thought. Monday. On Monday morning, it was snowing again. The snowflakes came down very softly. When a flake fell against the snow, Julia could see that it looked like a star. On another days, Julia would have run out to play in the snow. Today she was unhappy, and so she gazed out of the window. Lucy and Jane were spinning. Her mother was weaving. Weaving. Do you remember Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah. Continue. Her father and
the boys were working in the woods. Julia kept moving around the room. I wish she kept saying, "What do you wish?" Lucy asked her. "I do not know," she said, "but I wish something nice would happen."
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon, her mother sent Julia with Robert and Francis to make a path out to the shed. They made snowballs and threw them at each other. At one another. They rolled in the snow. They piled the snow high and made a fort. After a while, they finished the path and turned back to the cabin. It was dark when they came to the house. As they opened the door, the delicious smell of roasting meat filled the cabin. The fire snapped and cracked, making dancing lights in the cozy room. The children saw that the table was set. Their mother had put their very best tablecloth on it, and their very best dishes. She had put a big dish of red apples in the middle of the table. At each place there was a dish of plum preserves. They had been made in the summer and they were kept for parties. Before each dish of preserves was a folded paper. Julia wondered what those papers were. She watched them as her father said grace. Then, as they sat down on the benches beside the table, the Joy children reached for the papers. "Valentine's!" cried Jane. "Look at mine." She held up a paper which had bright red pictures on it. Lucy held up another. Robert and Frances held up theirs. So did their father and mother. Julia held up hers. "Read it," said Lucy. Julia stared at the paper. At the top and at the bottom were rows of red paper dolls. They had been cut out of one piece of red paper, and they looked like a line of dancing children. In the middle of the paper was a verse. Julia began to read it. "If you will go out in the snow and to the biggest pine, perhaps you may find there today your own true Valentine." What does it mean? The riddle.
Yeah, she asked.
She asked just what it says.
Francis told her.
Her new.
Tingin na.
Ano yung pamilya saya?
Tingin na.
"Don't you want to look out in the snow?" Lucy asked. Julia stood up. "Shall I find another Valentine out in the snow?" she asked. "Look for it," said Robert. Her father, mother, and Jane, and Lucy, and Robert, and Francis smiled at her. She did not wait to put on her cape, but ran out of the cabin. The biggest pine stood near the place where she had left her purse. on Saturday night. The poor purse. It was no longer a big. It was no longer a bag with which any child could play. Julia thought of it as she moved toward the big tree on the snow. Beneath the tree lay a bundle. Julia picked it up. There was a little piece of paper pinned on it. In the light from the house, she read to Julia. Naming stop ito. She ran back to the house and opened the bundle. As the covering fell off, she saw that it held a purse. She saw what it held, a purse. It was not a purse like the old one. It was not made of green silk. It had no pink roses. It was not bright and gay. It was a purse made of deer skin which Robert and Francis must have found. The skin had been cleaned and rubbed. Her father must have done that. The skin had been carefully cut. Her mother must have done that. There was sewing along the edges, sewing in bright red wool. Lucy and Jane must have done that. It was not a beautiful purse in the way the old purse had been beautiful. It would never be to Julia what the old purse had been. It was plain and homemade, but it had been made just for her Valentine. Julia knew, too, that all her family must have worked hard to make this gift. Oh, darlings, she cried to them as she hugged the bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Then yun na quit
7.
counting her family pala.
Wala,
Then
see,
Julia
if
ran.
I was right, okay. So,
Then Julia ran.
1, wait man ha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay.
Then
Julia ran to her mother. Mother, I love my purse, she cried. Oh, everyone, my purse is beautiful. I love you all for making it. She went around the table, hugging each one of them. She held the purse tightly in her hands as she sat down again. This is the nicest Valentine any girl in Kentucky ever got, she said. All of them smiled at her. The look in their eyes made Julia very happy, for every one of them was smiling at her, telling her without words how much they loved her. This is the nicest purse any girl in Kentucky ever had, she told them. Because you made it for me, I think you do not even miss the old purse, Lisa said. Julia said nothing. She knew that she would always be sorry about the lovely bag that had come from a convent in France. Never again might she have anything so beautiful, she knew, though that already she loved this deerskin purse in a way she had never loved the green silk bag, for this had been made just for her with love, and it was like her a part of Kentucky.
So she lost her old purse and her family made her a new purse. Let me see.
Balik ang kapoy, siya na. Ang butong ko na siya.
Okay, all the way to the church. Assignment mo lang niya. So next na. Read the poems on page 341 to 343.
Wait lang, ma'am. May butang pa ko sa may microwave. The new wave.
341. Gutom ka na.
Prob na. Ay, naku.
Read the poem from 341 to 343.
Jingle bell, jingle bell. Ako naman, ha? Thank you. Jingle bell street. Hindi ko get mga. Wala ka na may asang pizza.
Hurry up na kadam, kapag di ba sound?
99.99% na lang ang tao ganun ng pizza. Ikaw lang tao nga wala nang itan. Or ang ipan ko, allergic sa gross pizza.
Clear times.
Mga. Wow, dugin ka. Uni pa kang talang nahak nga. Ano ba? Pikan ba?
Rap na kay ma-point ka. Kag you're gonna read.
Sabi ko may mo tapong. Poem? Poem?
No.
Poem?
We're gonna read.
A poem!
What did you made?
Ha?
The pizza?
Do you want some?
Oh! Hello, Mrs. V. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mega love shout out. I'm here in background while working. Hello, everyone in the chat. Thank you so much, Mrs. V. I'll be streaming only 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's the jingle bell. That's the jingle bell rock. I got last song syndrome already.
Woo! Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing, jingle bells swing. Dancing, posting, and jingle bells swing.
Hurry up, Tage, because you're wasting time.
That's the jingle bell.
What are you doing there? They told you to wash dishes.
Ha?
Come here.
Ano mo lang ka-wash with dishes siya? Wash with dishes man ka. Ano ko to? Tubig ako. Tubig ka. Ba't ang tubig? At last, someone comment.
Ooh. Just sit down din. Share niya yung
Food. Nag-share mo. Ano?
Ba ilang da?
Ginano yun naman?
Share niya.
Nag-share niya.
Ba ilang da?
Sabi ko yun muna.
So catchy. Come here na.
Ang may winky-winky face na naman.
Ilan tayo?
Wala, it's winky po.
Labtira ka. Sit down na, di ba?
Ano ka?
Agay!
Sino ka?
It's cold!
Sino ka? Si Wink. Ano to?
Pinky
Winky? Winky-winky. Pinky-winky. Ano to? Pinky-winky. Now, Pinky-winky.
Hurry up. We still have to read 2 more.
May natawa sa mga mata? Sakon ko pa ako.
Tisha, isa na lang ah.
Mga Pinky-winky ka pa.
Read the poems. Kitkiat ka.
Nga mga winky-winky ka.
Emoticon lang na eday.
Kung bakit tayo pa nga. Kaya mo.
Yun na.
Why you hear that?
Waste of time.
Sige
Kagin.
na.
Prairie.
Message.
Poem na na mo.
Sige
na.
Prairie spring. A gray grassy hill. A wind fresh and strong. Blue.
Read louder. Bala when you're reading a poem again. Prairie spring. A gray grassy hill.
A gray grassy hill. A wind fresh and strong. Bluebells, sand lilies, a meadow lark's song. Young sage crushed by tiny feet gathering flowers. Only a prairie child knows such sweet hours. Greener forest.
Oh, my land is God's land.
Remember mo si Coco, mo ni mo.
We're gonna be reading this also, the vines of the missions. I'll continue. That will be the last reading.
My land is God's land. Mama, how come this one is colored? This one is colored, but this one's not.
I don't know.
And this one is colored.
That's how they printed it. Don't ask me. Continue. My land is God's land.
My land is God's land. Mountains, rivers, wide. God built it, blessed it, gave it to be the whole earth's pride. With lofty, silent places and prairies for the free, my land is God's land that goes from sea to sea. My flag is God's flag, and God will see it through. It shines on sea and mountain, the red, the white, and blue. It has no need of terror. It lives close to the sky. My flag is God's flag, and He will keep it high. And neat Wayne.
Hindi na napusa. Our
Lady of the Poppies. A little church upon a hill, wherein the spring a golden tide of poppies runs to meet the blue horizon of the ocean wide. A little spire, a little cross that shines against the western sky. A little shrine upon a road where weary travelers go by. There in the poppies Mary stands in beauty by the western sea. O Lady of the golden flowers, our blessed Mother, hear their plea.
Get the food na.
Then,
the vines of the missions. 344. 356.
Tingin mo tayong pila, ma?
It's up to you. And where would you want to put it?
Punta ko sa my plate? Sa, ano? Tingin mo tanga? Yeah?
I will not eat, Tej.
Ha?
I said I will not eat.
Sure ka? May butang mong pikan tayo, mama, sa may refrigerator?
No.
Okay. Bala mama, bala mama. Ngayon, sabi lang mo yung pangan, lang si Papi. Bapasiya.
The bishop came on horseback.
We did that already.
The priest comes to burning bush. That's different. Yeah. We read it already about ako ni Gunda. But you have to answer this one. This page 388. Then, move balatish! Hurry up na, eating!
Wow! Wow! It's bad to kiss you, how?
Because you're wasting time. 4:05.
Just kissing you po.
4:05.
Ano ba yun?
Dapit na lang ito matapos. Isa, duwa. Duwa na lang alansiran. Then this one of the vines of the missions.
Ma?
Read this one, then you have to make a retell of the story. You have to retell in slow, beautiful English the story of the vines of the missions. These phrases from the story will help you. So you have to base it on the phrases and then retell the story. Hurry up. The vine of the mission. I'll be back.
Mama, I'm gonna bag in Papa John's, Mama. I'm gonna get the same pizza Papa gets, Mom.
Okay.
The one that Papa gets all the time, yeah?
Feel cheese stick?
Tastes good.
Hello, Pushpa. Mirror vlogs in Canada.
The
Thank you so
sauce.
much.
The sauce tastes good. Di mo pa ba?
Hurry up eating fish. Pila na? 1 hour, 8 minutes.
May Pilipina, may ano yung mang, may babae ito yung mga ano, yung president sa Philippines.
Yes.
May kabali ba? Question ma. Sino ganyan ang laki nga president ba? Mga nga daw strict to katama mang. Nandaan bilang nga president bla. Ang tango yung alam. No? Ma. Malak mo? Ma.
Hurry up.
Tignan sa akin. Nakaka tubig kasi sila. Tubig na.
Come here, Natish. Let's read. Oh, hello, the Daniel channel. Yeah, long time no see because I've been busy a lot lately. Daniel, thank you so much for dropping by. It's been so long since I streamed again. So this is just a quick stream. Actually, I have 15 minutes left to stream. Hurry up, Tish.
Oo, wait lang. Buka mo tubig. Ano ta? Tubig mo. Mama!
Ginapa ko gaulat mo. No?
Anak ko sina.
Bukada na da.
Anong basahan ta?
Mas man,
Tigulan na sila?
Basa lang na. Wala na problema.
Tigulan
The Vines of the Missions.
Tigulan pa ni sila? Oh.
Hurry up,
How
Tesh.
sweet.
Hindi na mo na pag-count kung anong kada mo. Ang balasahon mo kay gadugay nga gadugay. Kaya agay mo pa kaisip. Lintiks
Nintan ako ang tsura nila.
Ano ko matita mo
sila
na
Ay, pagtako nila. Singamay sila.
Sana. The Fathers from Spain.
The Fathers from Spain taught the California Indians how to love and serve God, how to live and work happily, and how to grow the plants that men so called the vines of the missions. The boy could not play.
The boy who could not play.
Of course, the
other children.
The other children were sorry for Gerald. They came every day to his wheelchair and talked with him about what they were doing. They brought him presents when they rode into town. They watched the television. They watched television with him. He was their brother, and they loved him, but he could not share in their rough, noisy games, so he sat day after day in the wheelchair, watching them run over the California hillside where the grapes were growing. They lived all of them. They lived all of them with their father and mother in a long, low, white house in the beautiful Sacramento Valley. There were no other houses near them. The Mexicans who worked among the grapes lived in these houses, but Joe did not often see them. Every school day, their mother drove Gerald's brothers and sisters into town where they went to school. Brothers and sisters into
okay, Danielle, let me check it because I didn't know. What's the name of your new?
Before he had been ill. Sometimes he sighed when he knew no one of the family couldn't hear him. He was never left alone. There was only one mass at the church in town, for the priest had to drive in the early morning a long way to another town to say mass there too. There were many Mexicans in the other town, and some of the men who worked for Gerald's father were glad to go to early mass at the farther place. One of them could always be found to stay with Gerald. All of them were kind, but it was only when old John came that Gerald was happy to have this care. Old John was Gerald, thought a very old man. His skin was as wrinkled as a raisin, although his hair was still dark. He spoke slow, beautiful English, and he told stories. They were not like the stories that the children told or read to Gerald. They were stories of California, of places near them. Even though John had never seen them, John told them with his voice, with
his eyes,
and with his hands. Gerald never moved while old John talked. Isn't there more? He would ask when John had finished a story. Next Sunday, old John would say. Through the week, John worked with the other Mexicans among the grapevines on the hill. As the vines grew, they looked more like little trees than like vines. The men trained them to grow that way. In the winter, they took cuttings from vines. Ginakas mo.
naman.
Pinahalay ko na.
Oh, sus. Continue. and
put them in the place they called the
nursery.
nursery. In the springtime, they planted these cuttings and tied them to stakes so that they could be held above the ground. The vines kept climbing until in time each one was strong and growing great bunches of grapes. Gerald had never thought much about the grapes until John talked of them. The boy knew that his father's grandfather had come to California a long, long time ago and had started this work of growing grapes. He knew that his father talked of good seasons and of bad seasons. He knew that in good seasons the family bought a new car, and that in bad seasons they went without many things they said they wanted. The boy knew that sunshine and rain meant much to the growing of the grapes, but he had never thought about how grapes happened to be growing in California until John spoke of it. The fathers brought them, the old man said. The fathers, Gerald asked. You mean my father and your father? Oh, no, no, said John. I mean Father Sarah and the other priests who built the missions. California always calls them the fathers, the padres. We say that is the Spanish for fathers, and the missionaries were all Spanish. You mean that they worked in the fields? Gerald asked. Padre in the Philippines, we call them padre also now.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Padre.
Continue. Oh, yes.
Oh yes, said the old man. They did all kinds of work and they taught the Indians to work. They started all we have here now. What we have here.
Ako, timugit ka doon naglakad. Bunglon. Kung nakalimti, sige.
Gusto mo balaan nga nagamo na.
Why?
Remember, mas na standard gina mama mo ko ni. Ay, balan ni malasakit bala katama. Ay, masakit mo katama o. Remember mo tong mga amiga mo. Hello mga amiga ko. Ay, na akong batao. Pagikap mo sa akon, ay, ginikap mo na gipisga mo katama sakit-sakit. Lived at the long rows of grapes we owe to them. Tell me about it.
Gerald said.
The old man lighted his pipe, puffed at it, pushed himself down in his chair, and began to talk in what Gerald knew was his storytelling voice.
The story of the vine.
The story of the vine. Here in California, a long time ago, the old man said there was a little boy named Pedro. He had come from Spain with his father, who was a soldier of the king. They lived in the fort of a mission, the first of the 9 missions which Father Serra built in California, then ruled by the Spanish. Father Serra had come to Mexico from an island near Spain. In Mexico, he decided that he must go up into the wilderness that was California and teach the Indians there. He set out on the highway of the king with colonists and horses and cattle and tools. Hosea came to California and started a mission. The king of Spain sent soldiers there. That was how Pedro came to the fort. Every morning, the soldiers of the fort marched out for mass. They wore uniforms of scarlet and gold and blue. Their bright swords shone in the sunlight. Forward march, said Pedro's father. Tramp, tramp came the sound of the shining boots of the soldiers. When mass was over, Father Sarah was always called his people around him. First, he gave them food for the day. They had to be very careful about food. For at that time, nothing grew in California. They had to wait for ships to arrive from Mexico with supplies.
Then the priest.
It's like India.
Then the priest
Looks like the Philippines costume. Oh.
Okay. Then the
When the
priest.
priest told them of the day's work to be done, there was ground to be cleared, there were ditches to be dug, there were orange and lemon trees to be planted, there were stones to be found for new buildings, there was sand to be mixed for cement, there was there was wood to be chopped, there were horses to be fed, there were cattle to be herded, and cows to be milked.
One day.
One day, Pedro waited until the soldiers had returned to the fort. He waited until the colonists had gone back to their houses. He even waited until the Indians had gone about some work for the brown-robbed priest. Then Pedro knew near to Father Sarah. He spoke with a little fear. Is there not something I can do for you? He asked. The priest looked down at the little boy. You are very little, he said. I have strong hands, said Pedro. Father Sarah lifted one of Pedro's hands and looked at the strong little fingers. So you have, said the priest. I'm too young to serve Mass, my mother tells me, the boy said. You are too young, said the priest. There must be something at this great mission that a little boy can do, sighed Pedro. The priest shook his head. That means no, Pedro cried. The priest began to smile, and his dark eyes lighted. His head moved in another direction. That means yes, shouted Pedro. That very morning his work began. Father Sarah gave him little cuttings from a grapevine. Plant this, he said. Where the California sunlight shines the brightest, care for them tenderly, water them often, plant these cuttings in new small holes. And the whole wall of the fort is ready and waiting for the little vines to grow and cover it. Pedro held the cutting in his strong little hands. What is it, Padre? He asked. From where did it come? It is a cutting from a grapevine that grows in a vineyard on the sunny side of a hill on the island where I was born. My cousin sent it to me by a soldier who was coming here. Father Sarah said, You are very far from home, said Pedro. I may never see my home again, the priest told him. But plant this vine, Pedro. When I see, I shall think of the land where I was born. While the men went out into the fort, while an Indian woman worked at the wool and cotton looms, Pedro watched the vines grow. At first, they were tiny green roots above the brown earth, while Indians herded cattle in the long, warm, sunny days. Pedro cared for the vines tenderly. Day by day, they grew taller and stronger. They are growing, he said. He told Father Sarah. Upon them there will grow bunches of purple grapes, said the priest. The soldiers passing by in their uniforms of scarlet and gold and blue saw the work that the little boy had done. When you grow up, they told him, you must be a soldier of the king. Pedro shook his head. I want to follow Father Sarah wherever he goes, he told them. There I will plant more grapevines. Then the priest said, I must go to the north to begin new missions for the church. I will go with you, Pedro said to him. Up and down California hills and valleys, the brown robed robed a big robed priest and the boy traveled together. The priest spoke to all who listened of Christ the Savior. The boy looked up and down at the country of California for sunny places to plant cuttings of the vines. When all the work in the north was done, Pedro went back to the first mission. As the sun sank into the western ocean, the mission bells called the Spanish colonists and soldiers and the Indians to the Rosary. Afterward, they went back to the fort. There, to the music of Spain, the children of the New World danced as their fathers and mothers had danced before them in a country across the sea. The great golden moon of California shone down on them.
No one knew then.
No one of them knew that.
No one knew then.
Knew, no one knew then that one day the Spaniards would be gone from California and the Indians gone from the mission lands. No one of them knew that when that day came, the grapevines would still be growing on the hillsides of California because a little boy named Pedro had planted them there. Is that the end of the story? Gerald asked when the old man had finished. The end. He said, "No," said Gerald.
It is not the end.
It is not the end. You are doing,
John,
you are doing what the boy Pedro did. My people and your people still work in growing of the grapes.
on the growing.
On the growing of the grapes. Oh, John, isn't there some work I can do here? The old man looked at the boy, wrinkling his forehead, and thought, "You must pray, my dear," he said. "Then perhaps the good
You must
God
pray, my friend,"
he said. "Then perhaps the good God will show you how you can help."
The boy plants a vine.
Boy plants a vine. Next day, after the other children had gone to school, Gerald saw his father talking with old John. John went off, and Gerald's father came up the hill to his son's wheelchair. "I hear that John has been teaching you something about the vines," he said. "Do you think I could ever work with the vines, father?" the boy asked. "We are looking for a way," the father said. For a couple of days, nothing happened. Then on Saturday, after the other children had gone into town with their mother, old John came up to the wheelchair. A tall, shy Mexican boy walked beside him. "He is Pedro,"
The old man said.
the old man said. "He wishes to be your Pedro. He will do for you what the Pedro of the story did for Father Sarah. If you wish him to do it, you mean that he will plant vines and care for them while I go with him?" Gerald cried. "If you wish me," said the young Pedro. Of course I wish you," said Gerald. He held out his hand to the Mexican boy. "We shall work together," he said. "We shall be friends." "We shall be friends," said the boy. Pedro maging ito. That was how the team started. Gerald directed from the wheelchair. And if Pedro knew much more about vines than the other boy was able to tell him, he said nothing. He was kind and he understood that boys who could not play needed the help of others. They worked together day after day, 6 days a week. They grew strong and healthy vines, and they became true friends. In proof of it, Pedro spoke on Saturday to Gerald. "Do you wish to go to Mass tomorrow?" he asked. "But that is impossible," Gerald said. "My wheelchair will not go into the car." "I know," said Pedro. "But I can push the chair all the way to town and back." "All the way," said Pedro.
We must ask.
"We must ask my father," Gerald said. Gerald's father looked carefully at both boys when his son told him of Pedro's offer. "You may do it tomorrow, Pedro," he said. After that, we'll see." The next day, people going to church along the California road saw a Mexican boy pushing a wheelchair. The sun grew hot. The miles were long, but he did not. Oh, na blah na 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 na.
Let me see.
Ito na.
But he did not
But he did not
slowed down.
He laughed with the boy in the chair. Even when they went back along the road, the boys were laughing together. Next Sunday we shall go again, said Pedro. Then they went on the next Sunday. But Pedro did not push the chair along the roads. Instead, he helped Gerald's father he helped Gerald's father to lift it up into a new station wagon that had been fixed to hold it. I thought it was not able to buy it, Gerald heard his father tell his mother. But when I saw that when I saw what that boy was willing to do for our son, I knew that I had to make some sacrifice to make life better for him. Gerald and Pedro smiled at each other as the car rolled along the California roads. Their smiles said that they had planted more than vines when they had worked together. They had planted their friendship, which would live longer than the vines upon the hill. Ano ha? Ano tabuaw?
Because remember, Gerald cannot walk.
Mm-hmm.
So, he teamed up with Pedro and then they planted vines. So, it means aside from planting grapevines, they had also developed friendship together.
Hindi ano namin si Papa yung sacrifice?
Sacrifice gani.
Sacrifice nga, no?
I knew that I had to make some sacrifice.
Hindi mo si Papa yung?
They bought him a new station wagon that had been fixed to hold it.
To hold ano?
To hold the one that they're doing.
To hold the what?
They went on the next Sunday, but Pedro did not push the chair along the roads. He doesn't need to push it anymore. Oh. Instead, he helped Gerald's father to lift it up into a new station wagon that had been fixed to hold it. See?
Nagbayad pa sila, ina.
Gani, hindi aging baklan siya ni Papa niya.
Ano ba kung?
Kaya una-una, siya ang gatulog-tulog, di ba sa iya? It's Pedro who's pushing his chair. So, the father saw it on how Pedro treated Gerald. So, that's why his father decided to buy that one for him.
Alawan ka mo susdalan.
So, what is California missions? Read B. Ay, na-read mo na galit. Na? 388. 388. Last 2 na lang nabasahon. And then we're done because it's gonna be your assignment.
When are we gonna check tomorrow, Mama?
Check tomorrow with the what?
I check tomorrow. Check the outside.
Later, in the afternoon.
What time?
Depends.
It's afternoon already. It's 12.
5 probably. This one, Read this one.
I don't know what.
This one, the bishop came on horseback. Then this one is answerable by yes or no. And the last reading would be burning bush waits for the bishop.
Do you remember the Pima?
What? Quit doing that, Tish. Next time, I'm not gonna give you the tissue paper, because you're wasting it.
Ano
Are you listening to my instructions?
Oh, I got
read this one and then answer this one on in case on Thursday. And then
remember
this one
the
also.
P? Damdamo na kayo muon,
Thursday ni mo.
Pudamo na kayo muon. Mama, do you remember the P?
What P?
P bala?
I can't remember. Sige na. Ari, the
Gamay,
bishop came on horseback.
The P bala that we read in this is along.
I forgot it already.
The P bala that jumps all over the place bala.
Hurry up na so that we can finish. It's already 2 hours, so until now you're not done reading.
Alangan.
The bishop came.
Bishop came on horseback. The missions go on with the pioneers. Even today, there are pioneers in our land. Men and women still go out in new places to make new homes for themselves and their children. They put up sod houses or log cabins. They fight heat and cold and wind and storm to make a living. They suffer many of the trials which the pioneers of long ago suffered. They still lived far away from towns and cities. They
have to
traveled many miles to Mass on Sundays and holy days. In many places in our land, there are still no churches. Sometimes a chapel car comes on the railroad or chapel motor
What are you doing there?
coach comes on the a chapel motor coach comes along the road. Then people come from hundreds of miles away to go to confession and to hear mass. In these far places, the coming of a priest is a great day. There are priests. The coming of the priest is a great event. The coming of a bishop, a greater one. Even today, there are priests who have to ride hundreds of miles to go all over their parishes. Parishes, what's parishes?
That's churches. Small churches. It's called parishes. The one that we're going into. There are
bishops who have to go thousands of miles to go over all their dioceses. What's a diocese? Dioceses.
Remember, we studied already in the religion. What is a diocese?
That was a long time ago.
Well, you should also read it later so that you quit asking questions. Diocese is the organization.
I thought I'm gonna read it.
Mugani.
What you told me already.
So hurry up na. So many little places.
So many little places on our frontiers of today. The bishop comes as bishops often did long ago on horseback. The priest comes to burning bush. She had a long name, Elizabeth Mary
Kunigunda Purdy.
You show me yung babae ni?
Yeah, but this one is a longer reading. Continue na.
Remember the Shasha? Remember Shasha ne? This is our land.
Continue, Tish.
She had a long name, Elizabeth Mary Kunigunda Purdy. But her father and the boys and all the people around Burning Bush never called her anything but Lacey. Grabe ba? No one knew how the name Lacey had come to her. Her mother would have known. Perhaps she had given it because her little girl reminded her of a Valentine she once owned. Perhaps she would have changed it when her child grew older, but she had died when Lacey was 7. The little girl with the bright eyes and tight braids. What happens to braids?
Who did not
look like anything made of lace. Stayed Lacey. Ever since she could remember, Lacey had helped her father take care of the ranch house and the boys. When other children of her age were caring for dolls, Lacey had been caring for her brothers. She had learned to wash clothes and to sew, to cook almost as soon as she had learned to read and write. Lacey did not know. No one of them thought much about her.
Continue.
Much about her.
Sasha wanna read also. You wanna read also? Huh? You're bothering. Continue.
Lacey did not know. No one of them thought much about it. How much the the family depended upon her. She knew only that she was glad to do what she could for the people she loved, Dick and Tom and Dan and her father. She was 12 years old and Dan was 5 when Father Staton came to Burning Bush Burning Bush was the little town nearest the ranch. There was no railroad, it had no church. The Catholics on the ranches rode could when they to the
Mexican
when they
church.
could go to the could to the Mexican church nearly 70 miles away. 20 miles away. Grabe ba? Lacey's father always took her and the boys there for Christmas and Easter, although they had to ride for hours to get there in time for Mass. On
Can you finish as I'm
Wait.
listening?
On Sundays, they could only read the prayers of the Mass as they knelt in the little living room of the ranch house. Ranch house. Father Stanton changed that after he came into Burning Bush. One Saturday morning, he went to the mayor and asked him who were the Catholics in the town and on the nearby ranches. The mayor, who was a Mormon, did not know, but he wanted to help Father Stanton, and so he took him to the telephone operator. What's a Mormon, ma?
That's another religion.
Oh. Ang Mormons to nga sa lugar ta? Abi kong lugar nga lang, andi ang
Continue, be.
The telephone operator who ran the switchboard in a tiny room of her own house knew everyone on all the lines around Burning Bush. Most of them are only bushes to me, she told Father Stanton. But we are all friends. She made a list of all the Catholics around Burning Bush. I am a Methodist myself, she said, but I think everyone should go to his own church when he has the chance. What's a Methodist, ma?
That's a different religion.
A religion naman? Paano kakabala mga religion nga mo naman?
Obviously, because I'm old.
What?
Continue na.
Then, after the motion picture theater owner, who was a Jew, had told Father Stanton that he might use the theater for Mass on Sundays, the operator telephoned the message to all the Catholics within 20 miles of the town. Lacey was baking biscuits when the telephone rang. She took the message with surprise. You do not mean, Mrs. Wilson, that we can go to Mass tomorrow at Burning Bush? I mean, just that, Lacey, the operator said. At 9 o'clock at the Happy Hour Theater, you had better start early. Oh, we will, said Lacey. She made her father and brother and the boys start so early that they were the first of his congregation to meet Father Stanton. We all know the prayers of the Mass, she told him. Do you want Dick and Tom for altar boys? Father Stanton took them gladly. I think Father Stanton told Lacey that you were born to be a Martha. What's a Martha, ma? Martha,
the one that's helping the church.
She said after him. Why is that? Do you not remember? The priest asked her. The story of the time of our Lord went to the house of Mary and Martha, and Mary sat beside him in prayer while Martha was busy about many things. Martha was doing our Lord's work too, in her own way that made her a saint. I'm glad to hear about her, Lacey said. I never knew there was a saint like that.
There
There
are
are many
many.
saints like that, said Father Stanton. There was more than one Martha in the congregation of Burning Bush, although Lacey was the youngest of the workers who helped Father Stanton in the big job of starting a parish. There was everything to do, for nothing had been done. From dawn until after dark, Father Stanton worked. Worked. He ran his little car over as many miles of Texas trail as any cowboy had ever traveled. He visited every Catholic. He baptized children. He took the last sacraments to the dying.
No place.
Makatugitag pa libre man to, di ba?
No place.
No place was too far for him to go. No person was too far for him to seek. He is a real padre, the men of Burning Bush all said.
Continue na.
The whole town, as well as his own Catholic people, helped him to build a little church. Burning Bush was poor, very, very poor. In the long, dry years, there was not enough money in the place to pay for the.
You wake up in the morning, but I do that to your nose. So, not there, here in the bridge. Pinch that every morning when you wake up.
So, one pwede ha?
No, every morning.
Nasa morning.
When you wake up.
Nasa morning ito?
Because the bones are still
Big.
The whole town, as well as his own Catholic
Catholic
people, helped
No. There was not enough money in the place to pay for the church what everyone wanted. Then Father Stanton wrote a letter in which he told the people's needs. He sent it to the president of the Catholic Church Extension Society of the United States of America. The Extension Society helps poor missions. In time, an answer came, and other letters then came from the Extension Society money, which doubled the money the Catholics of Burning Bush had been able to get together for the building of the church. The Church of the Immaculate Conception began to rise on the Texas plain. Hindi naman Burning Bush out.
We'll be able to Google it later. Father Stanton said, we've been here. The Church of... thank you so much for dropping by into the stream, Hash's Fire Lord.
The Church of the Immaculate Conception began to rise on that Texas plain.
Thank you so much.
This is our greatest day, Lacey's father told her and the boys as he drove them home from Burning Bush. I think Dick said that the greatest day will be the day we make our first communion. What about the day we shall be confirmed? Asked Lacey. Oh, that is a long way off, said Tom. We must have a bishop to confirm us. And when will a bishop come to Burning Bush? He may come, said Lacey. Sooner than you think. When will he come? Leodan asked. Oh, perhaps in the springtime, Lacey said. She does not know any more about it.
Than you do.
Than you do, dance, Tom said. Lacey laughed then. But as they rode toward Burning Bush, she thought how the Texas plain would be covered with blue bonnets one day in April. On that day, the bishop would come in a shiny, long, black car to give confirmation to them and to all the other children in the little white church. I do know, she told the boys. Just you wait and see.
So, Burning Bush waits for the bishop. This is the last reading. Then we're gonna be done. Remember when the bishop ride into the the small horse? Burning bush waits for the bishop. You're welcome, Ashes Carlor. Thank you so much, brother.
Alabama.
Sige na.
Alaska, Arizona.
Sige na.
Wait.
Why you wanna sing 50 Nifty after this?
Hindi na. O si? Si? Si?
Yeah, that's why.
Si pala. Si.
Hurry up na so that we can
Si?
finish.
Si? Wala, ano sa my bride?
That's how they do it before. If they're attending class, they're putting something to it. Hurry up na so that we can do mathematics.
Sigo. Mama, remember mama. Looks like ano. Simuta.
Ay, dahil takdan mo lang naman. May bakod na lang.
May, kapo naman, sakit ka na,
Tag mo pala kay maluto pa ko, daan ka nung kay papa mo. Oy, kadamak-damak, maling gagaling man. Ay, The mountains over the Mexican border
looked near and purple. In that springtime,
lazy. Hurry up, malaki.
Patiga ba ako na bala? Ikaw na sumutig
Ano ko? Hurry up
patiga ba lang? Matig-ab ko na bala?
Lazy and the other children
made their first communion. But no bishop came to Burning Bush. Next year, perhaps we shall have confirmation, Father Stanton told his people. Then summer came, and the plains grew dry again. Then came autumn, and again the feast of the Immaculate Conception. It was after Christmas when Father Stanton said that in the spring the bishop was coming. He has promised that he will be here for the feast of the Annunciation. Said Father Stanton. He will give the sacrament of confirmation to those of you who are old enough and who have not yet been confirmed. That is nearly all of us, said Lacey. I am afraid it is, said the priest. For weeks the people of the parish made ready of the great event. The little church was swept and scrubbed. The owner of the motion picture theater sent over 2 big baskets to hold the flowers he had ordered from Kansas City. The mayor lent the only Persian rag in the town. The telephone operator brought in a pair of glass vases which her mother had carried westward from Alabama. People are coming from as far south as the border and as far west as the big ranch. Lacey told Father Stanton, wait until you see the crowd that will be here on Thursday. That was Monday. On Tuesday, the Pecos began to rise. Most of the year, the Pecos is a shallow river that is hardly more than a name. Sometimes, though, in the springtime, it becomes an angry river that rushes over railroad tracks and
breaks
down rivers and bridges and tears down homes. This was one of the years when the Pecos went on the war path. But Wednesday, the river had risen so high over the highway bridge that the motor stagecoach could not come through the railroad. That means Father Stanton said the train from the north will be late. It may not get through at all, said the mayor. I will get through, said Father Stanton. They seem to believe that the train will get through. Must get through.
Lacey knew.
Lacey knew now that the bishop must come by train. And how could they have confirmation? Ano?
Because I'm gonna put my arm there.
Akong manik po.
And burning.
In
Confirmation
in burning bush. In that if the train did not come through, how will he get in from the railroad? Tom asked. Why, Father Stanton will bring him in his little car, she said. But how will he get his car to the railroad? Tom went on. He will get there, said Lacey. On Wednesday afternoon, old Marcos, the foreman of the 3F ranch, was shot by a gang of horse thieves. Oh, napatay siya?
Yeah? You didn't say something like that.
Was shot.
Shot only? Didn't say died. He was shot only by gang of horse thieves.
That the old man was dying.
One of the ranch cowboys telephoned to Father Stanton.
One of the ranch cowboys telephoned to Father Stanton that the old man was dying and wanted a priest.
Dying, palang gani. So, continue. Father Stanton
set out to the ranch. To reach it, he had to cross one of the little rivers that runs into the Pecos. By that time, it was not a little river, and the car stuck in the middle. A cowboy rode out and rescued the priest, but darkness came on before they reached the 3F. Someone else, Father Stanton realized, would have to meet the bishop. From the 3F, he telephoned to Lacey's father. Can you get to the railroad? He asked him. The train on which the bishop is coming is due at 10 minutes past 7 in the morning at 5 Mile. There is no station there. It is only a whistle top. It is the stop. It is the one place from which he can go through. I will meet him, Lacey's father promised. At 10 o'clock that night, he went out in the corral to see that everything was all right before he started to drive to the railroad crossing at 5 Mile. He did what he had done a thousand times through his leg over the fence, but nothing happened that had never happened before. He slid and fell. In a little while, he knew that he had broken his leg. Call the doctor, he told Lacey, who had come out of the house when he heard him call. She called the doctor in the town. I cannot get there until morning, he said, and told her that to
her
what to do until he came. When Dick and Tom, she got her father back into the ranch house. Then she remembered the errand that that had taken him to the corral. Someone has to go to the railroad, she thought. Dick could drive the car, but Dick was needed on the ranch. And could a car get to the railroad? Could it cross the highway bridge if the motor truck could not? She telephoned Mrs. Wilson at the Burning Bush stitch board. This is not a chance of getting through there, the operator said, but someone has to get to the railroad to meet the bishop, said Lacey. If no one meets him at 5 Mile, he can't get to Burning Bush, can he? No one is getting through on wheels, Mrs. Wilson told her. Some of the cowboys have been going through the shallows up near Millers, but
that's the last name.
Millers, but they have been on horses. I will see if I can find someone to go. Thank you, said Lacey. Hours later, the operator called back. Lacey, I cannot reach anyone who can go to the railroad. Half the lines that come into the switchboard are down. Can you get anyone near you to go to the railroad? I will try, said Lacey. There was, she knew, no one she could reach. One of them would have to go, but Tom was too little and Dick had to look after the cattle. She started out of the house. Dick followed her. What are you going to do? He asked. I'm going to meet the bishop, Daisy told him. You are foolish, said Dick. You cannot ride one horse and lead another over that river, not even at the shallows. Then I will take that just one, said Daisy. The bishop can ride him back. What will you do? Dick asked her. Will you stay? If you stay at 5 mile until he gets back with the horse, you cannot be confirmed, can you? I suppose not.
Sit straight and slouch, Lacey said. Then she
Then she lifted her head. All the rest of you can be confirmed, she said. You do not mean you are going alone, Dick cried as she moved toward the corral. I am going, Lacey said. She knew that her father was comfortable and would have cared. would have care. I am going alone. She waved her hand to Dick as she left the yard. Lacey rides to meet the bishop.
5 mile was no more than a name on the railroad.
5 mile.
Pit na lang matapos
Si Muya eh.
5 mile.
5 mile was no more than a name on the railroad map. There was no station, no water tank, not even a platform. There was only a lantern that hung on a pole near the tracks. By its dim light, Lacey saw that she was not the only one waiting for the train. She had gone miles and miles out of the usual way from the ranch to the railroad. She had ridden by starlight and found her way to the shallows of the river. Carefully, she had gone almost inch by inch to the waters. The river was not high here, as it was near the highway bridge. That it was far too high for easy riding.
At every step.
Wait lang. At every step her horse took, Lacey prayed to God for help. But when she had won her way through, she thanked to him and she prayed to him to thank him. I hope the bishop can ride very well. Pretty well, she said to herself. Lacey had kept on riding on to the railroad. She had thought that she was the only one on the road that night. The lantern light showed her that two horses stood beside the tracks and that one of them had a rider. Hello, she said. Hello, a voice answered. It was a young voice. Lacey moved her horse near the others. Are you waiting for the train? She went on. Yes. The voice sounded shy. Then suddenly it lifted in surprise. Are you a girl? Sure, said Lacey. Are you a boy? Yes, said the voice. Where are you from? Lacey slid down from her horse and walked toward the other horses. Brigham, the voice said. Brigham was the Mormon settlement 25 miles to the northward. Did you come alone? Asked Lacey. Yes, I came to meet my father. He is coming from St. Louis. Do you think the train will be on time? Of course it will, said Lacey. The bishop is on it. What bishop? The boy asked. Our bishop is coming to Burning Bush to give confirmation. My father is an elder. The voice came nearer as a rider jumped from his horse. In the starlight, Lacey saw that he was a boy about her own age. Did you come across the Pecos? He asked her. I'm sure I came through where it was deepest. Perhaps you did, she said. I know a lot of rivers. He told Lacey. Then, as the starlight faded to dawn and dawn brightened to sunlight, he told her of the Texas rivers. He knew He told her of the Colorado and the Guadalupe, of the Trinity and the San Saba, and most of all of the Rio Grande, which makes the boundary of Mexico. How do you know so many? Lacey asked him. My father goes to all our churches in the state of Texas. Texas, going ang bush, said the boy. He is really a missionary. Father Stanton is a missionary, said Lacey. I know, the boy said. I have seen him. There are a lot of missions in Texas, said Lacey. There is a lot of everything in Texas, said the boy. Then he talked of Texas towns of Galveston and Corpus Christi of Houston and Austin.
Corpus Christi of
Houston,
Houston, and Austin.
Austin naman. Ano yung, yung
Places.
capital?
No, yeah, continue. Of I said just continue. Of San Antonio,
and Dallas and El Paso.
Texas.
Wala ka balo sang kapital sang
Kabalo
Texas? Ito na namin mo yes or no?
Galing ang ulo ko. Si mo, concentrate ko sa nabasa mo. Continue na bala. Texas is... Sige na, yung pangtap ako dipingan.
Texas is a great country, he said. Kainit sa tutunan ko ba? Kapabla mga...
Over.
Ito ikaw Pabla.
Natural na. That's your skin. So, Texas is a great state.
Texas is a great state and a great country, said Lacey. They had talked of bean crops and oil wells, and were talking of cattle when Lacey saw a thin line of smoke against the sky to the eastward. There is the train, she cried. I will say goodbye now, said the boy. My father and I shall be riding off as soon as he gets in. The long train came to a stop as they stood together. Down the track, two men carrying bags got off the steps of one of the cars. One was a tall man with a beard. There is my father, said the Mormon boy. The other was a shorter, older man whose gray hair might once have been red. As he came toward Lacey, she saw the tiny touch of purple just below his white collar. She noticed the kindness of his eyes. There is a bishop, she said, and wondered what she would say to him. I am Lacey, Father. I mean Bishop. I do not know what I should call you, Father. I have come with a horse for you because Father Stanton could not come. The Pecos is over the banks and the bridge is out, and my father is hurt, and confirmation will be at Burning Bush as soon as you get there. And well, said the bishop, his blue eyes behind his spectacles dance a little. And so you are Lacey, and I am to ride a horse. You can ride, can't you? Lacey asked in sudden fear, lest perhaps he could not. Oh yes, said the bishop, I can ride. There is no other way to Burning Bush, she said. Not for a moment, but had she not, she thought that the bishop might not want to ride through a rising river to reach the little town. Not for a moment either had the bishop shown that he did not mean to go. I'm lucky to have a horse here, he said. There have been times that when bishops have to walk every great distance. Great distances. There have been times when bishops has had to swim. I certainly hope you will not have to swim the Pecos, he said. The bishop looked down as if he had a question in his mind. He at his black suit and overcoat. Do I ride in this? He asked the man with the beard. You can ride in them if you have no riding clothes, the man told the bishop. I have none, said the bishop. I did not expect to use this way of travel. From the saddle bags, Lacey brought out a cape of bright yellow rubber. You can wear this poncho when you get to the river, she told the bishop. How is the river? The tall man asked the boy. We can get through at the shallows, the boy said. Lacey got through after I did. You can get through, said Lacey. How shall you get there? The bishop asked her. Oh, I will wait, said Lacey. I can walk to the nearest ranch and get something to eat. Then I will wait until you come back. But my dear child, I cannot leave you here alone, the bishop said. I'm not afraid, said Lacey. This is my country. Even so, I cannot let you stay, the bishop told her. But father, I mean bishop, you are the one who has to get to the two burning bush. They are all waiting for you for confirmation. Have you been confirmed? Lacy, the bishop asked. No, father, I mean bishop, but is there no way by which you can come to? The bishop said. I know a way, said the Mormon boy. He moved close to his father and spoke to him in a low voice. Why, of course, said the man. My son says he told the bishop that you may have his horse. He can ride with me on mine. Thank you very much, sir, said the bishop. Thank you, said Lacey.
Not at all.
Not at all, said the boy's father. This is Texas, he said. I do something for you today, you do something for me tomorrow. That is life,
It's like,
said the
this
heaven
is the
mission.
Chicago way. The Chicago way. So
Ano
this
how?
is the Texas way.
Ano yung...
I do something for you today, you do something for me
Ano
tomorrow.
sa Chicago way, oh?
That is the Texas way. Chicago way.
Hmm.
You send, he send one of yours to the hospital, send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago.
Ano ginawa mo?
We watched it already, but the Untouchable, You're Forgetful.
Oo.
I'm gonna show you the clips later once we're done. Ouch! Hurry up na, Trish! You're gonna destroy my...
I'm gonna eat your face.
Gonna destroy my glasses again,
This lipstick there. Mama, did you know, Mama?
Hurry up na, kasi sa eyes na.
Wait,
We have a lot of
Mama,
glasses
Mama,
to study.
Mama.
I will not listen.
How can you not listen if your ears are open?
Hurry up na, you got 4 pages.
Oh, wait, Mama.
That is live.
I saw on YouTube, Mama, that the girl said, thank you, Mama. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's not part of the lesson mo. Hurry up. That
Yeah, but
is
that's
live.
thank you there. Oh.
Okay, that is live.
That is live, said the bishop. He strapped his bag to the saddle, put on the yellow poncho and mounted the boy's horse. He set out easily, much to Lacey's surprise. I did not know bishops could ride so well, she said. Afterward, when they had crossed the river, she
Continue. She repeated her praise.
You came through the shadows like a cowboy, she told him.
And they certainly were not shallow. Continue, Tish.
Wait lang.
Ma-edit pa ko gali.
Continue na. It's just hair. You came through the shallows like a cowboy, she told him. And they certainly were not shallow. Thank you, Lacey, said the bishop. Tell me, he asked her. As they rode toward Burning Bush and saw the little spire of the white church of the Immaculate Conception. Is Lacey really your name? No, father, I mean bishop, she said. My name is Elizabeth Mary Kunigunda Purdy. Really? His eyes were dancing again. And what name are you making in confirmations? I should like Bishop to take the name Hermenegilde. Hermenegilde. Elizabeth Mary Kunigunda. Ako pagay nga na.
Dali na na eh.
Kuya?
Same mo, it's up to you. Hermenegilde.
Hermenegilde.
Hurry up na balatesh.
Nagpudlas nga.
Hermenegilde. Hurry up na. So that we can finish. It's 3 hours already. We have to do mathematics.
3 hours. It's 2:24.
That's why I'm saying
22 seconds.
Continue
24 so
long.
Done.
Said the bishop.
Well. How hours afterward, all of Burning Bush that could crowd into the little church was looking at her as she knelt. All in white, Elizabeth Mary Kunigunda felt the bishop's hand upon her forehead.
And heard him say the words. And heard him say the words that confirmed her as soldier of Christ.
Lacey knew that the bishop had added the name of her choice to her long list of other names. Afterward, outside the church, she heard his voice calling her. "Yes, Bishop," she answered. I have been telling Father Stanton, the bishop said, of the name you have chosen. He wonders why you did not take the name of Martha. I wanted a name, Lacey said, that everyone would remember. I see, said the bishop. Somehow, though, no one in Burning Bush ever seems to remember that she is Elizabeth Mary Kunigunda, to say nothing of Hermenegilde too. But everyone in that part of the Lone Star State remembers that she is Lacey. They remember that she is Lacey, the girl who rode across the pecos so that the bishop could come on horseback to give confirmation in the little church in the Immaculate Conception. Of the Immaculate Conception. Even in Texas, that is fame enough for any girl. Can you give me the laptop?
Later na. So, we're done. Finally, we're done reading. So, we're gonna be done streaming also. Thank you so much all for all those who have been here into the stream. The Daniel channel. Mark the Shark, the guitar professional, Sir Gavin, thank you so much. Hashes Farlord, Pushpa Mirror Vlogs in Canada, and Mrs. VS Speaks Royally. Thank you so much. My mama, papa, and are still sleeping. We love you. See you in a few hours. Godwin, Luwin, and Luna. And to Sis Jen, thank you so much, Sis Jen. Keep safe, and I hope you have a good day. We love you, and take care all the time. Love you all. Bye-bye. See you until the next stream. And always remember, one book each day that you're gonna read is... No. One book each day that you're gonna read is very important because it's gonna add up knowledge to yourself also and to the people around you. So keep safe, everyone, and stay warm and comfy. Love you all.